I got in a hurry as I was leaving town. 2 of our boys, young men in our church, both of them now in their 20s, had a father, unsaved father. I think he was saved recently. Won to Christ about soul winner from our church. He had cancer. Maxine was cancer, wasn't it? Had cancer. Wilted away to nothing. Took him to the hospital to St. Margaret's, put him in the hospital. St. Margaret's, was it? St. Catherine's Hospital. And it was Wednesday. Wednesday. He died. One of the sons came to his room after he'd been dead for 30 minutes and said something like this: "Daddy, Daddy, Daddy." And after being dead for 30 minutes, he began to live again. He began to breathe. Nobody could believe it. Man was dead. This was during the day, Wednesday. Then he died the second time. They pulled the cape over him, pronounced him dead, planned the funeral services. We announced the time and day of the funeral service Wednesday night here in this church. They went to move his body and turn it over and take it to the undertaker, and they found he started breathing again. How long had it been, Max, since he had pronounced him dead? 4 hours. Pronounced him dead. Contacted the undertaker. Now, I don't know what caused it, but I got a sneaking suspicion that somewhere in the subconscious, when that boy said, "Daddy, Daddy, Daddy," there was something on the inside of that old father that hurt him and said, "I got to just tough it out as long as I can. My boy wants me to live." He gave it every second he had. He died, was buried, but he gave it every second he had. I don't know exactly. They say the last thing that goes in a person when he dies is his hearing. They say the last thing that happens is after his heart stops beating and after his pulse is gone. They say he can still hear. I'm glad, because faith cometh by hearing, and hearing with the word of God. And I think the dear Lord is saying, I want people to have the last minute chance. I want to give them all the chance I can. I don't want anybody to go to hell. And even though their body is actually dead and their heart is not beating, they can still hear for a second or two. I talked to a lady not long ago who spends her life going from dead person to dead person, telling them how to be saved, because she heard me say that in a sermon one time. She goes to hospital after hospital, and every time anybody is about to die, she goes there. And after they're dead and folks leave them, she tells them how to be saved, because she heard me say one time, the hearing goes last. I think he was saying, maybe he heard, "Daddy, Daddy." And I think maybe he said, with what reasoning he had as he heard, even though his heart was not beating, I think he said, "My boy wants me to live. I'll try it again. I'll try it again. Oh, this old pagan world of ours is going to hell. Somebody's going to have to say, 'Earth, earth, earth, hear the word of the Lord.' Somebody's going to have to tell our people, 'Holy, holy, holy.' Somebody's going to have to warn our people about the judgment of God. 'Woe, woe, woe!' Somebody's going to have to undergird our efforts to save our children. 'My son, my son, my son.'" This morning, if you're here and you're not right with God, all of these things are for you. All of it is for you. God says, get urgent about it. Get excited about it. It's big. It's important. It's got to be done. Get urgent. And I say this morning to you, oh sinner, 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 come to Jesus. Oh backslider, 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 get right with God. Oh young people, young people, young people, let God have your life. Oh, First Baptist, First Baptist, First Baptist, let's do our best for God. Say with the prophet Jeremiah, whose heart was broken within, as he looked out and saw his beloved nation going all the way toward the bottom. He saw places where once the songs of revival had been sung, now being filled with the viols and the melodies of the damned and of the heathen. He saw things that once were used for sacred worship in the temple of God, now being profaned in the same vessels was poured holy water, now has liquor, alcohol. And the same prophets of God that once had been faithful now are unfaithful. And the same land that once echoed with about revival now echoes with heathen pagan practices. And Jeremiah stood and tears rolled down his cheeks as he looked out at his people and he saw them going into sin. Do you know how sinful they got in his day? They got so sinful that a famine came that caused them to cook the bodies of their own children and eat their children's flesh. No wonder Jeremiah said, "Oh, earth, 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 hear the word of the Lord!" Let's bow our heads for prayer, please.